Hi everyone, I am back to film another 3 Looks 1 palette. Got a lot of them these days, but I am super excited. This just arrived in the mail. Dragonfruit palette from Clionadh. I may or may not have mentioned how excited I am for this. I don't remember, but I was very excited for it. It also came with a card describing the finishes, so if anyone's buying it, you'll get this guide. It explains very clearly what each finish is kind of meant to be, which I think is really great because you can just read the instructions. And then lastly, there is a little booklet of how to create 2 looks. So I definitely am going to try and make this one. I know lots of people have already done it, but I'm going to do my version of it for monolids. I'm probably going to skip this one though, just because I'm not really, I think I've done too many cut crease-ish looks lately. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this palette. I think first off, I'm going to do a look based around Dragontini, just because I literally can't wait to dive into this multi-chrome. After this look is done, I'm going to zoom out and demo applying one of the highlighters on my face. So I think we'll start with that. To start off with, they were saying that you can treat the satin shadows as almost like a matte. You can blend them or with a fluffy brush, or you can pack them up to build up the pigment, so that'll be really fun. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Prickly. I'm going to start with a really dark base, so that way Dragontini can kind of have some space to pop, I think is going to be how it works. I'm not so sure, so we'll see. But I'm going to start with a Sigma E25, so it's a fluffy brush. And I used the Peiliee eye base because I wanted something tackier so that the multi-chromes have something to grip to. Or the card said that these are satins, so they're not going to be completely matte, but they're not going to be high intensity either. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing how this performs. So right now I'm kind of building it up in this diagonal shape. I'm very happy that nothing arrived damaged in the mail. It was all packaged very securely. Shipping all the way from Canada, I always can't help but be a little concerned about hoping that my package can make it here. So since this is a tackier eye base, it's not necessarily blending super easily, but I kind of expected that. I have watched a couple of videos of people using this palette, people who got it in PR, but watching them did kind of just make me even more eager to receive mine. But you can see I got a really good result on the first eye, so I'm just going to quickly replicate that. And I'm being very careful to minimize fallout, so far I'm not really having any fallout of note. Yeah, this is pretty, and I think the shape I'm making today is a pretty good shape. I feel like I kind of went off the rails where I've been spending almost every afternoon of the past 2 weeks just laying in bed. I need to get myself back to being more disciplined. Okay, and I don't want to take it up too high yet, just in case I put something else on the, want to put something else above it. With a smaller Eco Tools brush, I'm just gonna start building up the lower lash line too. And this is a really pretty shade, and it definitely is satin. It feels so matte, but there's definitely glow to it from certain angles, so I think this is a pretty well done satin. Because you know how some satins are just mattes with those obnoxious glitters, and other satins are just lame metallics? I feel like this is I do actually really enjoy this finish. And then I'm just gonna kind of use this brush, just because I have it, I'm just gonna use it to pack a little bit more. I think the left eye needs to be a little bit more diffused on the outer part. Okay, so that's a little bit more symmetrical now. Okay, so now I'm going to go into Dragontini, and I think I'm just going to take my finger, because I know these are always really soft, and you can see here the shift a little bit, so that's going to be the point shade. I haven't used their multi-chromes in a while, just because I just forget. So using this brings back some good memories. I'm really trying to not buy new things and just focus on my things. Really trying. It's very hard to resist though. Multi-chromes are always so smooth and creamy and soft to the touch, so a lot of it is going to come onto your finger, and then a lot of that is going to transfer to your eyelid, so you get a really nice opaque application. It's really nice. Pull it a little into the purple because I want it to kind of transform on the purple, like that. Here we go. That's so pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to switch brushes. I'm gonna get a clean brush. I need to wash my brushes. And let me see. There's other velvet satin formulas. Specifically Strawberry Pear is gonna be the one I'm interested in using, because I would like to see how it works with lightening up and kind of blending out this look. And okay, this is a little bit more intense than I anticipated. Okay, now I'm gonna switch brushes again because I put down too much. I was hoping to use this just to like lighten up the purple and help with diffusing the whole look and blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, that's kind of more what I was expecting. So I'm gonna continue to use this brush to blend out the borders like that. Yeah, that's a lot better. And then I'm gonna take a little on the lower lash line too, just for the color. I like having that pop of color in the lower lash line. I feel like it's really pretty. Yeah, kind of makes your eyes look like they're blushing. And then I'll go back into Prickly and I'm going to re-deepen it up now that I more or less have established its boundary. Okay, that's really pretty. I'm like digging this. Okay, let's replicate. I'm gonna replicate this on the other eye. And these definitely do feel, the satin finish is so interesting because it could be, it could trick you out into thinking it's matte, and then you kind of tilt your head over to the side and you see this soft sheen. It is so pretty. I imagine if they made a formula like this in a bigger pan and then in like a lighter color, it would be like the prettiest not there highlighter. I don't know if that made any sense. Yeah, I just love how the pink addition just makes my eyes look kind of like there's blush under them. And then I'm just gonna kind of make the lower lash line a little bit more intense now that I have the look starting to come together. Yeah, and so far the fallout has really been pretty easy to ignore. Like, I'm not getting much at all. So that's the look so far. It's definitely simple. I didn't use that many shades, which I think I like. With multi-chromes, you can't really, I don't want to make it too complicated because I want the multi-chrome to kind of be the spotlight of the look. So now I'm just going to go back in with a brush so I can precisely intensify it where I want it. These multi-chromes are so easy to manipulate, brush or finger. They are so soft. If anything, you'll just want to be wary of fallout if you use too fluffy of a brush. So you may want to consider an even stickier base, or just, you know, just be mindful of that. But these are so pretty and they're so shiny. Definitely one of the best multi-chromes on the market. The only other ones that I like just as much as these would be Terra Moons. But yeah, and this doesn't have that dark base, so I like it even more. Okay, and then for the finishing touch, I want to use an inner corner highlighter. So I'm gonna go into Effervescent because I actually, well no, I'm concerned now. I don't know if this is light enough. Let me see, I'm gonna swatch it. Yeah, so this is gonna have that kind of pinky champagne shift, so I don't think that it's gonna work. It might not be much lighter than the way Dragontini's reading on my skin tone. So I'm gonna go into Bubbles, which is up here. Here, I'll shift it so you can really see it. It is a glitter type iridescent multi-chrome, so we'll see how this plays. It seems to have a lot of different colors inside. It almost gives me Phoenix vibes, so if the blue is too overpowering, it might kind of look a little bit funny, but I think it should work. And yeah, I can really see that with the glitter type multi-chromes, you can really see how there's like kind of a lot of more individual flaky particles. Note that the glitter type formula doesn't actually have glitter, like it's eye safe. There's no actual chunks in there. It's not gonna like, you know, you're not going to lose your eyeball. It's just called glitter because it has that kind of glittery formula, and it's a little bit on the chunkier side. And then I'm going to use that on I'm going to use Effervescent on my lower lash line just so that I have something a little bit more subtle. It's interesting that they have these two shades being in such large pans. I guess maybe it's because you can use them as highlighters. I'm not so sure. Effervescent also kind of is a little bit more on the glittery side too, so it's a little bit hard for me to pick up on this brush specifically. And then I'm gonna take more of Bubbles, and that's gonna finish off the lower lash line. Okay, so that's gonna be this first look. Really pretty. It's hard to show the multi-chrome shift of Dragontini on camera. It definitely looks more duochrome-y, like just kind of like a purple yellow, but in real life there are some flashes of green depending on the angle you look. So yeah, it's just overall really pretty. If you want to see more accurate multi-chrome swatches, just go check out Bad to the Brow on her YouTube channel. Her swatches are always done with much better lighting. She'll use her phone flash to also kind of show the shifts. But yeah, this is what it's looking like, and I am in love. So I'm gonna go and finish my makeup, and then I'll be back to demonstrate the highlighter. Okay, so I zoomed out so you can see my face and my I need to shampoo my hair greasy hair. So with this look, I want to use one of the highlighters. So there's two. You can see that one of them is distinctly more coral, and the other is distinctly more blue. So might look a little bit better. Now this is like kind of a middle of the road look. I feel like it's not really meant for either, but gotta use one. So we're gonna use this one. I'm gonna pick up a little bit and run it across my cheek. Now I'm gonna kind of try and avoid putting it too far forward because I don't want there to be that cast. So I'm just gonna concentrate it towards the back. And that's the look it's giving. So this is like definitely a much more metallic highlighter. It's a lot more about the color than about blurring your skin or making your skin look glistening. It's a lot more about having this color expression on your cheek. Like you're using this highlighter for the color, not necessarily for the finish. Because I feel like what Clionadh did for these highlighters is they basically made a bigger version of their duochromes or multichromes, which is fine, but it's not like gonna be the most flattering look on the skin. That's what it looks like on my skin. Super pretty. And again, if I just kind of end it right here, I'm gonna avoid that dark cast that can happen when you use a highlighter too dark for you. So again, I'm gonna put it on my other cheek. Usually I'm using my left hand, but I'm holding the pan with my left hand, so I'm just gonna keep using my right hand. So yeah, I can see that it's kind of emphasizing the acne breakout I have right here. You can kind of see how these bumps are being very emphasized. So if you'll just excuse that, my skin will get over itself. It does this every year. It's funny because I'm not sensitive to ingredients, but I'm very sensitive to the weather. It is very metallic, so I feel like my texture is pretty emphasized, but you know, I'd be using this because I want the color. So, and also these will make for beautiful single eyeshadows, so if you are just wanting to use these on your eyes, of course, absolutely go ahead and do that. So that's gonna finish off this look. Everything else I had put on, it was literally just the highlighter I was missing, and I love how I basically have what feels like a sunset on my cheeks and maybe even my eyes a little bit. So, but yeah, that's gonna finish this look. In a few seconds you're gonna see me work on the second look, and maybe by then I'll have gotten my Squishmallow, who knows? Hello, I'm back for another video. If you hear rustling in the background, I've got these. I know. Hello. Very small. They're playing, they're having a good time, so they're making a lot of ruckus. So if you hear crinkling, what can I say? But I'm gonna be back with look number 2. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start off with, I really want to start off with this shade here. And then I think I might use this shade here, and we'll see where we go from there. Because I really want to save Sweetened for my pink and green look. Yeah, let me start with Hyloceros. I'm gonna use this IT brush. It's the Airbrush Precision Shadow, so it's pretty dense, but it's also not like super flat. So this is a duochrome, so I'll be interested in seeing how this performs. I wonder if this is gonna have a base. It does look like it has a base to it, but it doesn't look like the base is horribly dark, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'm just sweeping this across my eyelid. Yeah, you can kind of see where it's more diffuse, you can kind of see the base pulling through. But it seems to be more of like a purple brown base, so it's not like it looks terrible. I'm not really sure I personally see a shift in it, but maybe I see like a slight purple greenish shift or purple orange shift, very slight. It's really pretty, but I don't really see a shift, but that's okay. I wish I had a monitor set up because my astigmatism makes it so I frequently can't actually tell looking at the tiny viewfinder so far away if I'm in focus or not. Even with my contact lenses on, everything looks blurry anyways because my astigmatism is pretty bad. It does diffuse pretty nicely, like even though it's diffusing it means the base shows through. It's not like it looks terrible. It's not like a black base where you'd have problems. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, this is a good base to build off of. I'm pretty happy with this, I guess. I actually really want to try Fruit Fizz because it's a duochrome and the sheet is making it look really pretty. So I'm gonna take Fruit Fizz on a finger. Yeah, I really want to try this actually. So it's not like, it's not like super shiny. It kind of, it looks a little bit odd on top of the purple, I will admit. This is not going to be one of the better looks I've done, but I am going to be questioning the finished look and how good it looks. I feel like this isn't like my best work. We'll see. They don't always turn out the greatest, which is fine, but Fruit Fizz kind of feels like it has more of like a satin finish. Like I can see the duochrome shift, but it's not like a metallic duochrome. It feels like a satin duochrome. So I just kind of popped that in the middle and I just covered up like everything else. So I'm gonna go back into Hyloceros and I'm gonna reapply it this time with my finger again. Yeah, so now you can actually see the shade again. I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth between these now, just really make sure that both shades are visible. Yeah, kind of like that. So, okay, that's not too bad. Now I just need to clean off my finger. I'm a little bit let down by Fruit Fizz. It's not the metallic finish that I was hoping for. And then I'll just kind of blend it out on top a little bit. Kind of like that. So, okay, well, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it could be worse. I'm going to now I'm actually going to take Exotic. It's a little bit darker, and I'm going to put that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. This palette, the hinges do kind of squeak a little bit, so apologies in advance if the sound drives you crazy. I'm using this on the lower lash line just so that I have that extra amount of depth that I like to have on the lower lash line. And then I do kind of wing it out just a little bit to add some length to my eyes. I like how it looks that way. Okay, so it's coming together. So I'm going to take Infusion and I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line. Supposedly this is a sparkle shadow formula, so it should be really pretty. Yeah, I probably should have just stuck with using this shade on my upper eyelid. Because this is like a lot prettier with the purple than the first shade I picked. But I just like couldn't resist. Fruit Fizz looked so pretty. This definitely is such a pretty sparkle shade. I really like how it looks. Okay, and then finally I'm going to go into Effervescent, which is going to be this shade down here. And I'm going to use that on my inner corners, I think. I was thinking for a second, I couldn't decide. Effervescent is kind of the most neutral shade in this palette. It leans a little bit more pink, but it's otherwise a very kind of standard champagne color, so really nice to have this in here just in case you need a more plain inner corner shade. So that's gonna really add the finishing touch there. I've tried doing looks without inner corner highlight and I always end up looking so bad, so I'm just the kind of person who needs to have it. I know some other people they don't use it and they think they look worse because, you know, makeup's very personal to everyone, but for me it's like if I don't have it, something's wrong. It's surprisingly subdued for considering how colorful this palette is. I'm gonna take a little bit of Exotic and kind of just add some little oomph to the outer corner on the upper eye line, just because I feel like it's missing something. Just need a little extra. And then I'm just gonna go into more Fruit Fizz with a brush, and I'm just gonna see if I can just put on a little bit more. Maybe with a brush it'll stand out more. Hello! Hello. I know. Hi. You're cute. Tummy. Behold the tummy. I know! I took a nap earlier today and I had kittens just crawling all over me trying to like eat my ears and chew my hair, and I was like, I bet this is what a mom cat feels like. They're cute though. They're starting to learn how stairs work, so that's how you know it's like all over. They're a lot easier to contain when they don't know what stairs are, but they're starting to figure it out. Okay, I put on a little bit more of Fruit Fizz and I think you can definitely see it now. Alright, so this is gonna be the finished eye look. It took a little bit. I was really uncertain. I'm still kind of iffy about it, so let me know what you think. It's a little bit too monochromatic, I feel like. It's kind of just, it feels a little bit flat, but that's alright because I know the third look is going to be a lot better. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm going to put on some false lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is going to be the finished look. I'm wearing a fake fringe today because my hair is so nasty, but the look is complete. I'm wearing the Ardell 815 today. I had some trouble getting it on because the band's not super flexible, but it seems to be working for now. Yeah, I used some winged eyeliner. I felt like it just kind of helped. I feel like it kind of helped finesse the look a little bit. And for my lip, I'm using the Romand Zero Velvet Tint in Fade Red. It's going to be part of their vintage collection right here. So with the frosted packaging, as you can see, it's a kind of just toned down red. I don't really know how vintage it is, but it has a faded look. Kind of gives off the appearance of like faded film, so I guess that might be why it's called nostalgic. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this second look. I don't know how much I like it. I feel like it's kind of boring, but maybe boring is good for you guys. It's like 10:15 p.m. I need to go to bed, so I'm gonna sign off and you're gonna see the third look in a couple of seconds. Hi everyone, I'm back to do the last and final look for the Dragonfruit palette. So as I mentioned earlier, I really want to try recreating this look on this card here, so I'm gonna do that. So for that, I'm definitely going to make sure I prioritize using the pinks and the greens. So first off, it talks about using Sweetened and Dragontini, so I'm gonna go in with Sweetened first, and then I'll see where I want to go from there. Just because I already used Dragontini, so I'm gonna start off with Sweetened. Seems like it's being used on the center third of the lid. Sweetened is a satin formula, so supposedly it should be pretty easy to work with. The other satin that I've used, which is Prickly, I've had a really great experience with, so far no complaints. And so far I haven't had too many staining issues either. So as you can see, that blended out really easily, and I just kept it concentrated on the middle third as the instructions said. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Yeah, really pretty. The shapes are not super symmetrical, but that happens pretty often to me, so no worries. Okay, I evened it out a little bit. I know I'm looking a little funny right now, but that's usually the case. Okay, so then after that it says put Prickly on the outer third of the lid, making a point, and then apply Hyloceras and use that to kind of blend it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and use Exotic because I've already used Prickly and I really want to use something else. And this is a metallic formula, but I have not really had much issue with applying it as if it was like just, you know, applying and blending it out hasn't really given me many issues. I just have to be careful, and I'm just going to wing it out as the instructions say. So that's the shape that I've made, really pretty. And then I'm just going to kind of blend it out a little bit. And I'm using the VDL primer this time. As usual, I didn't set it. Alright, and then it says put bubbles on the center of the lid and then apply effervescent on the inner corner. So I will try that. And I also think I'm going to go ahead and put Fruit Fizz on the inner third because I used it in the second look, but I feel like over the purple it didn't really look as good. So I'm putting it on top of a bare lid this time, and I think it looks a lot better that way. Yeah, that definitely looks way better. These overall in the palette are some pretty fun and unusual textures. I'm definitely not used to using these, so I feel like I'm definitely learning as I go along. Yeah, so the duochrome definitely pops out more on just a bare lid like this. I'm really happy with how this looks. Yeah, that's such a pretty duochrome. Okay, so then it says put bubbles on the center of the lid, so I'll do that because it has a glittery kind of finish, and I think I dabbed on a little bit too much, so I'm gonna tap some off. So it's just kind of on the center of the lid. Ooh, really pretty. There's a topper that way. But it is very loosely pressed, so I almost picked up too much. Yeah, I put it on my hand here. You can see how pretty it is on my hand. And now I'm just going to go back into Sweetened because I feel like my eyeshadow looks a little bit patchy, and so I'm just going to try and tidy it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks really nice so far. And then it says put effervescent in the inner corner, so I will take a Rephr 03 to do that. Alright, so it looks a little bit different having Fruit Fizz instead of the Dragontini, so you can kind of see it looks a little bit different, but I think that's a lot of fun. And then it says to apply Infusion and then apply Sweetened, so I'm gonna follow that order. Infusion's really pretty. I feel like I didn't really give it a super big feature in this video, but so I'll try and apply a little bit more. And then I'll put Sweetened, and I'm just going to put this over. I'm not going to draw it all the way to the end because I need to make room for the green. So I'm just sticking it right here, and I'm going to call that done, and we'll make room. So there's a blank space for me to put the green down. And I'm just going to go over the tops, make sure everything is nice and soft, and I'm just using this super tiny blending brush from Hakuhodo. It's one of my new favorites. I'm really hoping to pick up more this month before their prices go up. Alright, So that's a lot more softly blended now, and so now I'm gonna go into the green. So now it says to apply this shade here, and I'm gonna use both this shade and this shade because they're actually different formulas. This shade here is that satin, and then this shade here is metallic, so I'm interested in using both. And it's going to just go out here. Just letting it continue my lower lash line. And I alternate between that shade and the metallic shade. I'm gonna extend it further out than the person did on the card just because I have the room. And I will kind of blend it down a little. And then take that other metallic, so it's called Dragonfly, and I'm just gonna put that here for some dimension. Alright, really cool. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the inner corner. I don't have as much inner corner space as this person does, so I probably should have had that in mind before I went all crazy with the eyeshadow, but that's okay. I'll just put it right here, so it'll look like that. So it's a little bit different since I do have a different eye shape. So it's kind of like I made a crescent half moon shape, really pretty, and then I'm gonna go into Dragonfly and I'm just gonna put that in the center. Just for that extra dimension. Super pretty. And then you make sure that it's as symmetrical as possible. And then I'll build the thickness. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty close. Okay, so that's gonna be what it's looking like now. Really, really pretty and really fun. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more Fruit Fizz, and I'm going to use a brush for this. I just want to make sure that it's nice, it's actually like visible. I feel like we lost it a little bit when we laid down the other shadows. And I'll lay down a little bit more. Yeah, so now you can really see it better now. And these shadows are applying really easily with a brush or a finger, which I've definitely has kind of been in line with my experience with Clionadh in general. I find they apply really well. It doesn't really matter what you use. And then I'll just use a little bit more effervescent. Yeah, that looks good. And then I do want to take a little bit more of Sweetened, and I just want to make sure the outer corner is more blended. And I'm gonna also kind of run it underneath all that green. So that just kind of cleans it up a little bit. And then I am going to take a little bit more of Infusion. I think it's getting lost. Alright, and this is going to be the finished look. I think it looks really fun. I could have added more depth if I wanted to, but honestly I think it just looks really fun this way. I definitely feel like I can see the dragon fruit with the leaves kind of sticking out of the sides, and a little bit of purple just for some interest, and overall just really, really pretty. Really glad I was able to pull it off. So I'm gonna put on some lashes and I'll be right back with a full face of makeup. Okay, this is gonna be the finished look. I did pink matching everything. I used kind of a darker, kind of almost berry purple kind of blush. I think it looked okay, but then I used a pinker blush in the middle just to kind of brighten it up. I am using one of the Fruit Lighters as my blush topper today. It's going to be this one here. Now on my face you really can only see kind of the more blue-white shift. You can't really see the purple shift, but that's what that looks like. This definitely is going to be much prettier on me as an eyeshadow, but I did want to see what it looks like on the face. I find these both to just basically be giant eyeshadows. As highlighters, I don't really think they do much to flatter the complexion, so they're really only there if you want that specific color on your face, but in terms of like texture enhancement or pore enhancement or anything, it just looks like you put a metallic eyeshadow on your face. So for me personally, I don't find it flattering to my complexion, but it would be certainly something to consider I would using if I like really wanted that specific color, you know what I mean? So that's gonna kind of be my thoughts on those. Definitely more eyeshadow than highlighter for me, but still really pretty. I'm glad I have them, and the little kind of see-through jelly packaging is so cute. I've been obsessed with jelly nails recently, and I have like no jelly nails aside from one thing from Lights Lacquer, so I'm like hoping that I have some money to get more this month because I just love all things jelly right now. As for the palette, I had a really fun time playing with this. I will say, however, it's not really a learning curve so much as you're gonna have have to really familiarize yourselves with these textures to understand what they look like. It's really hard for me to describe them in person. Obviously the metallic and the duochrome and the multi-chromes, we've seen them before. Clionadh does really good ones, but the satins are really something special. They are shiny, but at the same time they blend really well and they are just so easy to manipulate. You really just have to see it and use it yourself to understand what it looks like. I would say it's more like a toned down metallic. It's not like a true luxury satin. Like, it's not a satin you'd find in like a luxury eyeshadow formula, but it is still so beautiful. One of the better satins I've used for sure, and one of the few satins I would actively enjoy using compared to like matte with glitter. Overall, aside from the sparkly shades, even the metallics and the duochromes in this palette are surprisingly subdued. They're not ultra foiled like Terra Moon style, but in exchange you can see how the softness of the shimmers is really hiding all of my eyelid texture. So all the wrinkles are not emphasized and it doesn't feel thick going on. You don't have like a layer of eyeshadow that folds and wrinkles with your eyelid in a really uncomfortable way, which can sometimes happen if you put too much Terra Moons on, might I add. So really something special going on here. I really come to learn that there's definitely a balancing point between how foiled something is and how good and comfortable it actually feels on your eyelids. This is a really great compromise. I do find there's a lot of pinks and purples, as you know, it's Dragonfruit themed. It is very pink heavy, but all of the pinks are pretty unique. I really didn't find anything to be too terribly similar. If they do look similar, the finishes are going to be wildly different, and again, the packaging is just so adorable, so special. I have not seen Dragonfruit themed makeup. I've seen other fruits done to death, but I am always down to see something unique. I would love to see like a kiwi one, maybe mango would be a lot of fun. So this Dragonfruit theme really just had me from the get-go. I am so happy that I have this in my collection. I really couldn't recommend it more. I know Clionadh will restock this eventually. It's not like a one and done thing, but I don't know how limited this is going to be in the long run. So if you do want to get it, definitely consider making room in your budget for it if you can, because the quality absolutely is there. I had so much fun using this. If ever there was a palette that was so monolid friendly, it definitely is this one. So it's just really super special to me that I can just use this all on its own, have so much fun, and it really just flatters my monolids so well. And I think if anyone else has monolids out there, you're gonna find that this is super flattering if you're into color like this. So yeah, I hope that this video helped you guys, maybe helped you guys find inspiration, or maybe you want to recreate these looks with your own shadows in your collection. Let me know what you think about this Dragonfruit collection from Clionadh Cosmetics. I say Clionadh is definitely one of those indie brands I really love to keep an eye out. They're always on my radar. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what else they come out with, and I love this collection. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off here. If you really like this video, then don't forget to tune in to the next ones. I've got lots of indie content coming. I have so many things I need to catch up on. My filming schedule has fallen so far behind, but that's alright. We'll just keep trucking along, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!